back to my channel and to what is another Plan With Me video. This week we're going to be planning out the week of March 20th through to, I can't even tell you, I'm looking through my calendar with one hand. Yeah, I don't even know. March, what did I say? March 20th to March 27th. Duh, logical, 7 days. Anyway, I will just preface this video firstly with letting you know that you may hear some rustling, you may hear some squeaking, you may hear some odd little noises in the background. I do apologize if so, but as I'm doing this voiceover, I have my little pet guinea pig Honks with me. He's on my desk in his little hay bucket. He's been really unwell the last couple of weeks. He's had some emergency surgeries and things like that. And I am in a situation where I'm needing to like hand feed him and give him medications and things like that. More detail will be coming on that, obviously, in the Plan With Me's that occur during the weeks I'm currently living. But I just wanted to preface the video with that just in case you heard any unusual noises. I will try to edit out what I can if I remember, but quite honestly, my brain is a mess at the moment. I've got so many things to do, so many things to remember, and it's just chaotic. So there's that. You would have just seen at the beginning of the video. I didn't even know what dates I was filming. Anyway, the kit that I'm using this week is a gorgeous kit from Planner Goddess Studio called Malfoy. It is still available in store. And it is a kit that I have had in my collection for quite some time now. Again, it is one of those kits that time after time, year after year, I bump it out for something else. And I decided that this year I was going to use it because this is the week during which Slytherin Pride Day falls, and I, of course, am a proud Slytherin. And usually this week every year, if I have one in my collection, I will use a Slytherin inspired kit, or I will use like a Harry Potter kit of some variety. And truth be told, I mean, when I say that I wanted to use this kit, I actually didn't have any other Harry Potter or Slytherin kits left. So that kind of helped me decide on the kit for this week. But I do really like how the spread came out. I really enjoy all of the green. Like, green isn't a color I use a lot of. So to be able to bring in, green icons, green characters, black icons, black characters, black doodles, black functionals, green functionals, gray functionals. You'll see at the bottom there that I was able to bring in a pre-foiled matte Scribble Prints Co. washi that, again, I'd had in my collection for the longest time. It was that one and a yellow one. And I was like, I don't know when I'm ever going to use this. And fortunately, I got to use it in this spread. Reason being is the format of this kit that I had was quite old. The format of Planner Goddess Studios kits have changed quite a lot since I purchased the kit. And I wasn't really the biggest fan of the bottom washi because it was the same scene on either side, and it was the thick washi, like it couldn't be cut in half kind of thing. So I ended up opting to bring in my own washi. So I've got like a Slytherin inspired washi on the bottom there from, I think, Creating & Co. I bought that a long time ago. And again, like all of my Slytherin Harry Potter stuff, there are only certain times when I can use those washi tapes. I think last year I used a completely different Slytherin inspired washi. So it's always nice to be able to do that. And then I obviously needed a secondary washi to pair with that, which is when I decided to bring in the gray. Very different planning with this style of kit because the quarter boxes are very dominant for me in this kit, and there's not a lot of little things available. And I think, again, when I purchased this kit, I didn't buy any extra boxes. So now when I shop from Planner Goddess Studio, I do pick up extra functionals, whereas I don't think I had the luxury for this spread. I think I had some functionals like on hand from other stores. I didn't have to use them in the end. But yeah, I don't know. When I first did this spread, I was kind of like, not really sure if I'm a fan. I wasn't really sure if the grey was too light, so I tried to kind of complement that with some icons and by bringing in as much of the like grey boxes and things like that that I could. And I don't know. I think like again, I'm not the biggest fan of Malfoy. Not a fan at all, to be honest, until like the very end. Um, Even then, that's still questionable. But he is, of course, a Slytherin, and I'm a Slytherin, and yeah. um, so this week, I don't think I'm just having a look at the plans, kind of skimming through. I don't think much happened. We had a couple of different things on, which we will go through again. And when I start going through the day by day, I'm not going to tell you where each and every sticker is from, just because I will run out of time. I run out of time as is. So if you do have any questions about anything specific, definitely let me know and I will get back to you. But otherwise, all of the stores that I have used in this spread will be in the description below, because I just find that a really nice way of, I guess, promoting the sticker stores that I'm using without ramming them down your throat, so to speak. So let's go ahead and get started. So my sidebar is very basic this week. I've just used a little half scallop at the top there with the month script. I've put my socials in. I don't know why though, because I put a dash because I didn't actually record my socials that week. There's weeks when I do that, it just kind of happens. And then I marked the book that I was reading, and because I didn't really have anything else to mark, I kind of just filled in the gap with some washi, like the washi on the bottom of the page. That's it, very basic. And then we do jump into Monday. So the first thing that I marked on Coffee Mondays, wow, I was going to say on Coffee Monday is Monday, but no, on Monday is Coffee Monday. And then I've followed that up with a work from home script. Again, you guys know that generally when I mark my work schedule, I will use the same icons and formatting throughout the week. So that is what I've done. On the 20th, I did have a doctor's appointment in the afternoon. So I pretty much like logged off from work and went to the doctor. And then as a little treat, because I don't like going to the doctors, I bought myself a coffee from McDonald's just to be like, hey, you did it. Lame, I know, but 'tis what it is. And then that evening, I have marked that I had a little bit of a Twitch hang. So I hung out in my friend's stream. And then to finish off Monday, I watched Married at First Sight. I had to look because I was like, I swear I just like planned and I marked like the final vows, but it must be like the week that I've just filmed or something. I don't know. You watch like next week's plan with me, like maths doesn't exist anymore or something. Anyway, moving on. So the first thing that I've marked on Tuesday is, of course, Slytherin Pride Day, because it was Slytherin Pride Day. Hello, proud Slytherin. Gonna mark it. That's why we're using this kit. So that tops the day. I've then marked working from home. And then that evening, I've marked doing some adult stuff. So I've marked that I did have myself a cup of coffee. I did do some laundry. And then I chilled out, hung out on Twitch again, and did finish off the night watching Married at First Sight. Because at this point in time, it was on 4 nights a week. So 4 nights a week, I was watching maths. Wednesday, I have started out my day marking working from home. And then I did mark this day that I had a little bit of a headache. Again, I feel like what's new? Let's be honest. And then that evening, I have marked that I was doing some sticker organization, whether I was like reformatting my reusable albums or like doing my kit lineups. I've got no idea, but I've marked that I was organizing stickers. So yay. And then I did unstack and restack the dishwasher. I've also marked that this evening I uploaded a Lucid Legacy video. So that is a video on my Sims channel where I am still currently, I just haven't posted for a little while. I am playing out a challenge called the Lucid Legacy Challenge, which you can Google should you wish. It's just a really casual, chill, family-oriented gameplay experience in The Sims. So if you're ever looking for something fun to do or you need a challenge to do, I highly recommend the Lucid Legacy Challenge. And of course, I will link my Sims channel below for anyone who may be interested. And then again, as I mentioned, Married at First Sight is on 4 nights a week. So I did mark that I finished out Wednesday by watching Married at First Sight. On Thursday, I did actually have to go to the doctor. So Monday was my first appointment. I was definitely not expecting them to send me for bloods so soon. But as it is, or as it was, they told me to come back in first thing on Monday morning to have a bloods. It was as traumatic as not as traumatic as I thought it would be, but it was as traumatic as I anticipate it will be. So basically, every time that I know that I have to get blood work, which is very rare, but I have had it a couple of times over the last couple of years, I am a needle phobe. I can't do needles. I don't like the sight of blood. I'm a little bit of a wimp that way. So when I found out I had to have blood work, I was already like antsy and anxious about it. And then lo and behold, I walked in for my blood appointment this day. The lady was like pumping my veins and she's like, I can't find any veins. And I was like, please don't tell me that. Like, I don't like needles, so please don't tell me that. And I'd also walked in and told her that. Then because of how I had to do a blood glucose test, but I had to do like a whole bunch of like fertility type tests. So I think they took like 8 or 9 vials. And then after that, I still had to do the 3-hour blood sugar, like glucose test thingy-mabobby. So I basically, in the first draw, right at the very end, as she was taking the last vial, I did throw up, unfortunately, and she just kept going, which was great in a way because, like, had she have stopped, I don't know if I would have continued. And then for my blood glucose test, the first draw she took from my right hand, she missed a couple of times, so there was 3 jab marks in my hand. Then for the second test or the second draw, she went from my left hand and it spurted everywhere and made a mess and made me sick and it was gross. And then we went back to my third hand for the final draw and she had to put it in a completely different spot and it was over and done with super quickly. But I walked out of there looking like a pincushion. I had 2 pinpricks in my left elbow, 1 on my right elbow. I had 4 or 5 different jabs on my right hand and I think I had 2 on my left hand. So as you can imagine, someone who's walking in who's already terrified of needles and hoping that something traumatic like that does not happen, when I walked out of there, I was traumatized. Like I was shaking, I was anxious, I was just like, I don't want to do this again. But I got through it. So so all that to say, the first thing that I marked on Thursday was getting my blood tests. And then I did mark that the nurse couldn't find my veins and that I did experience a little bit of trauma there. Again, as a treat on the way home, I did get myself a cup of coffee, both to bring my sugars back up and just to be like, pat on the back, like you made it, you're alive. And then I've marked, of course, that I came back home. I did have to work for the rest of the afternoon. They recommended that I didn't, but I had so much work to do, so I had to. And then, of course, the sugar crash came. I was really low energy for the afternoon. I had a cup of tea when I finished work, and I just chilled out on the couch with my dogs and my husband. On Friday, I did have my first complimentary car inspection. So that was the day that marked having my car for an entire month. And as part of the Mazda service, they do bring your car in for after the first month. They give it a full like wash, clean, vacuum, and they just have a look at the car just to make sure everything's running okay, that there's no problems. So I did have that on Friday morning. I did have a free coffee from them as part of that deal as well, but it was awful. So I did mark having a gross cup of coffee. So naturally, when I finished at the service, again, I got myself another coffee on the way home and I did get myself a McDonald's breakfast. I've then marked working from home, and then that evening I've just marked having some family time because I went to see my mum and I did order some things from my mum's business website. And then we had Pizza Hut for dinner. On to Saturday, I did mark sleeping in, and then when I woke up, I did have a cup of coffee, and then my husband and I sat on the couch and watched some Supernatural. And then that evening, my husband's cousin had her housewarming, so I've just marked that we went to hers and her partner's housewarming. They actually live down the road from us. We did have pizzas for dinner that night, so I've marked that. And then my team did play that night, and we won by 1 point by the looks of things. And then finally, on to Sunday, the last day of the week. I did mark having a lazy morning and that I did, of course, have a cup of coffee to start my day. I also had a little bit of a YouTube binge. I did some tidying up of the cushion? Tidying up of the kitchen. What is speech? Um, I marked that we watched some more Supernatural, that I did hang out on Twitch for a little while, and then once again I did have a cup of tea, and I watched the final vows of Married at First Sight to end my week. Um, I totally forgot at the beginning of the video that I should have apologized for the sound as well. I'm not using my usual microphone. I didn't have time to get it. I have a curious little guinea pig that's chomping cables and cords, and it's just had dental surgery. So I just figured it was going to be easier to watch him and do the voiceover whilst using my iMac like microphone input. So if the sound is a little bit tinny or not as clear and crisp as it usually is, that would be why. But again, I will do my best in editing to try and make it sound up to usual standard. Um, anyway, you guys, I'm just showing you through the final parts of the spread now, as well as the leftovers. I will give you a little bit of a wiggle, but of course there's not very much foil to show you. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you will subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a like, pop a comment below. But otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!